What's
Chance.
up, man? Not a good day for me. Not a good day for our special guest that we'll introduce in a minute. But it's just, I hate being a Grizzlies fan.
Well, I mean, you're jumping straight there, Chance. I mean, I want to say, like, today was a good day. The weather was great. I mean, there was a lot of good stuff that happened on. But if you want to,
Look, man, I
you
woke up this morning. The Titans had a bye. I had zero chance of a heartbreak. Okay, we did not have a game. Today was supposed to be great. I told my wife, I was like, you know what? We're gonna just turn on red zone. I don't have to worry about the Titans losing. Everything is going to be great. And we're driving to Kroger to get groceries, and I get a notification on my phone because I get the Grizzlies PR like notification sent to my phone, and it said like medical update. So I was like, Morgan, can you like read this for me? Because this is kind of unusual. Normally this doesn't pop up like right before the season. I was like, can you read what this medical update is? So she's like, Grizzly center Steven Adams to undergo. And as soon as she said that, I was like, oh God, you've got to be kidding me. And then she said season ending surgery. And I almost just drove into a ditch. But luckily, I knew we had to record tonight. So yeah, we're here.
well, well, look, the Hoop Junkies podcast. We do more than just educate our listeners about the ongoings of the NBA. We also save lives. Thank you. I'm glad we were able to save Chance's life today by making him show up for work.
Yeah, you saved one today because we've got our special guest here. So I wasn't going to leave him hanging.
Well, look, with no further ado, I'm introducing our special guest, the one and only Melvin Purdy. Melvin, thank you for joining us today.
What's going on? How y'all doing?
Man, good. I mean, and I'm just glad that my friend is still alive today, Melvin. I know you heard him you're just talking about his plans of driving into a ditch, but he's here.
Oh, better than chance, better than the idea that I had after the news. I could have. I'm not gonna talk about that because it's kind of insensitive to some people, But
Yes.
I kind of feel your pain. Like so. The most I'm doing is wearing this hoodie, even though it's like 70
Mhm.
degrees in my house right now. It's just like kind of like Grim Reaper because I hope I hopes and dreams. We'll get to this later, but my hopes and dreams of a top four seed. So I feel like the Grim Reaper right now. I'm a swagged out Grim Reaper though. I'm repping a little bit. So.
Oh yeah, still got the Memphis, still got the swag. I had to
Yeah,
put the black shirt on too. Just RIP to the Grizzlies
Well,
season. Let's call it already.
well, to our hoop junkies out there, in case you haven't heard, uh, Steven Adams is out for the season due to a season-ending injury, season-ending surgery. So all this goes back to last season, where Steven Adams ended up missing the last third of the season.
Yeah, so he got hurt. It was January 22nd last year. I know this because it was my wife and I's anniversary. We were at the game in Phoenix. We took an anniversary trip to Arizona. And so I told her, I was like, you know what? We just saw Steven Adams' last game for like 2 years because we were at that game. And I remember him getting hurt at that game and literally hasn't been the same, which he played a couple preseason games, but I guess
mm-hmm.
it did not respond the way they wanted it to. So it's a pretty strange situation all around.
Yeah.
Well, and so jumping straight into this, guys, I know we'll talk about what this means for the Grizzlies season because we're going through playoff predictions and stuff like that in this pod. But my first thought was like, why didn't he have the surgery sooner? Because there was a whole bunch of questions last year. It was about like he was doing this weird, like I don't know, like PT or like they sent him to Zimbabwe or something like that to get stretched out by some monks or I don't like it was this big cloud around this whole injury all summer long. And now we get here a week prior to the tip off of the regular season, already down Ja. It's like what's going on in Memphis?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he wanted to come back for the playoffs. It sounds like I've kind of heard some reports that he was pushing to come back, and the Grizzlies front office was like, "No, like let's wait till you're 100%." So, I mean, I'm still trying to figure out what's going on, but it seems like they tried to delay the surgery because they wanted to see if they could either get him back for the playoffs or maybe they might not need the surgery. And because he played in the opening preseason game, and it was weird because in the media day, like Kleiman and Taylor Jenkins were like, "Yeah, I think he's good to go." But Steven Adams was like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I'd be lying if I said I'm 100%. And so it was always kind of weird how there's like a disconnect there. And he comes out, he plays the opening preseason game. He played a couple more games, never more than like 15 minutes. But I thought it was weird when the last preseason game was like the dress rehearsal, right? We had Marcus Smart, we had the whole starting lineup. except Steven Adams. And I was like, well, that's kind of weird, but maybe, Veterans Day off, get him ready before the season. So I thought that was kind of like the first like odd thing that came up. And so yeah, I mean, I think he should have had the surgery right away, but they didn't know. And I guess the way he responded in the preseason, maybe his knee flared up, and they realized like, okay, we're just still not there yet. We need to fully fix this and get you ready for next year. But yeah, it's a really strange situation. I still don't really know what the hell's going on, to be honest.
Yeah, there's so much like uncertainty. Like this, well, Chance as a Grizzlies fan, for a while, especially this new regime, since John's been here, it's so secretive on like everything newsworthy, especially the injury reports and
Mhm.
everything. They keep everything under wraps and just hit you like at the worst possible time if it's like super bad.
Yep.
So it's just unfortunate. It's just unfortunate that all this happened off a loose ball with the grab
Mm.
Hmm.
over that was like in a game that was like out of reach on Dylan Brooks' birthday. So like
Yeah.
we was already getting our ass whooped, and then like you go after a loose ball and you down 20, and it's just like already depressing, and it like makes it more depressing. That whole road trip, I don't even want to talk about that no more. That whole road trip
Oh yeah.
that week
Yeah, because
was
that was
like
the same
depressing.
road trip. Yeah, that was the same road trip that they were getting into it at the LA game. You had T Morant getting into it, and because I remember like we were on like a huge winning streak, then all of a sudden we went on that road trip where we lost like two or three in a row going into that Phoenix game. So of course I show up to the Phoenix arena with my Grizzly stuff on, like ready to get loud, and
Damn.
they just blow us out. We did come back towards the end. We came back at the very end and made it a game, but the first three and
Yeah.
a half quarters we were down 20. I had these Phoenix season ticket holders next to me that I wanted to push them off a bridge too by the end of the game. It was rough. And then Steven Adams, like you said, getting hurt on top of that. We obviously didn't know how severe it was at the time. And if you would have told me then that like he was going to miss the next season and a half, basically, like I would not have believed it. But yeah, it's rough times, man. It's just
Yeah.
like I feel like every
Yeah.
time we get on this pod, there's some negative Grizzlies news. So it's rough.
Don't shut down the pod. Don't shut down the pod. I love y'all too much. Don't shut it down. Don't shut it down yet. But
Yeah, you go.
Hey,
You gonna have all these Grizzlies fans going to just start bombarding us saying cancel the pod because every time y'all pod, somebody is flashing a pistol somewhere or somebody
there's another press release on some bad news. Yeah.
it's gonna be
like
Yeah,
everything
this pod
gets
is
it.
bad luck.
it's gonna be you. It's gonna be
Man.
It's gonna be Sane and Zach Carter, the two biggest enemies in Memphis.